Welcome to Unboxing. My name is Rafael Escobedo. Now in this video we'll go ahead and talk about the previews and predictions of Keith Thurman versus Luis Collazo. And before we do that, we'll go ahead and do some quick notes, like a week roundup of what's going on this week in boxing. We have Floyd Mayweather, who lost his 147-pound WBO title, which it was taken for him because he did not pay the $200,000 sanctioning fee. And actually that belt was supposed to be for the Timothy Bradley versus Jesse Vargas, and because he hasn't paid his fee and they had to wait till July 3rd to see if he's going to retain his title or go ahead and just vacate it. They had to fight for the interim WBO champion at 147, and because it's taken away from Mayweather, most likely Tim Bradley is going ahead and is going to get that belt because he did win that fight. We also have the WBC president Salomon saying whoever wins out of the Miguel Cotto Canelo Alvarez fight should fight Triple G. Don't know how official that is, but he had made a statement about it. So that's looking pretty good when you think about it. Even though any of these fighters, they kind of want a little fight before fighting Triple G, if they're scared of him or not, at least they're going to get money off of it. It also adds to their status in boxing. So this is coming out to be real good for Triple G, who hasn't fought really anybody in the top 154, 160, and is even saying 168 because supposedly they're scared to fight him, or they don't want to fight him, or they want to have a little fight before they fight him, or some kind of build-up. Well, this helps out Triple G either way, where he gets, if it's Miguel Cotto or Canelo Alvarez, and he's been calling both of them out. Miguel Cotto did say he's not ready to fight at 160. He's not really 160-pounder, so see what happens after that fight. And most likely, if the WBC does want somebody from Canelo and Cotto fight to fight Triple G, and Cotto doesn't want to, most likely he can get stripped from his belt and make it vacant, I guess, for Triple G or marry Canelo. Either way, Triple G still doesn't have a fight to get for the end of the year. Whoever wins out of Canelo and Cotto won't be till November. And after that, they still need 3-4 months to get ready for Triple G. So either within that, that's almost like a 6-7 month layoff for Triple G if you don't get a fight in between that, which he needs for he'll be active and won't get any kind of rust. And then brings us Mayweather. Most likely, if Triple G is going to fight the winner out of Canelo and Cotto, most likely he's not going to try to go down weight to fight Mayweather at 154 or 152, which also the WBC president Thurman doesn't like the catch weight. So if the fighter's going to fight, they won't have to fight at that weight that the title is on. They won't fight 154. Triple G will be able to hit him at 154, not 152, or any kind of catch weight that Mayweather wants to do. And also, it's getting real close to his September fight. His last fight with Showtime. He still hasn't signed to fight anybody, even though he's called out Mayfield and Andre Berto. Because a lot of people had talked about that, don't know why he's calling out these two fighters. Andre Berto, who has lost to two fighters that Mayweather already beat. Mayfield, who hasn't really had that much of a status. And also lost a couple of fighters at 140 pounds. Just because he beat somebody in sparring, like they say he beats Amir Khan out there, so why not fight him? The difference between sparring in the ring and actually fighting in the actual ring for a professional fight. And there's going to be some times that even Mayweather can get beat up in the sparring. There's going to be some times Canelo, Cotto, Triple G might get up in sparring. But that's sparring. That's not real actual fighting. The other fighters not giving it 100%, especially the ones that are top dogs. Say like Amir Khan, he's a better known fighter. He's up there. Maybe they're trying to switch it up in the sparring session, which is not really what Amir Khan's going to do against Mayweather in the ring. But another thing too, was waiting to see if he also wanted to fight Tim Bradley, he's also one of the top persons at 147. So don't understand if he's going to fight somebody, wanting to fight somebody that caliber. Another thing too, he could also be waiting for the outcome of this fight, which is going to be this weekend, this Saturday. Keith Thurman versus Luis Collazo. Thurman has put out there he wants to fight Mayweather after this fight, especially if he wins this fight. He wants to get a piece of that Mayweather money before Mayweather quits. If it's really Mayweather's last fight, September, I see why not. Keith Thurman will bring more money than Andre Berto or Mayfield. I don't know if Mayfield had talked about he could bring the money and stuff like that, but I don't know. Unless some drama is out there outside of the ring that has nothing to do with boxing will make it people want to pay for $100 or $80 for that fight. Keith Thurman sounds a little bit more better, more realistic, more competitive. But let's go ahead and just get to this the previous prediction of this fight. Keith Thurman and Luis Collazo. Keith Thurman he's doing pretty good. He's already had a second fight this year, which if he goes in and fight Mayweather, if he doesn't fight Mayweather, at least it shows he's willing to fight again this year. So that'll be 3 times for Keith Thurman fighting top guys out there. Luis Collazo, I won't say he's a top guy, but he's not an easy fight. Have you seen the fights that he had with Andre Berto, Ricky Hatton? That's a little bit way back. Most recently, like Victor Ortiz. He actually knocked out Victor Ortiz in the second round, which Mayweather did in the later rounds with the cheap shot. Luis Collazo is still looking like he still be able to fight. He fought Amir Khan, and he he did look like he fought a little bit different than he always does. He was stalking more Amir Khan, and he was fighting him like a power puncher kind of style, which he's not really, but he's able to break people down and land some good punches. He has fought Ricky Hatton, went 12 rounds. He got knocked down the first round, but he was able to come back and actually did enough to actually win the fight. But they gave the fight to Ricky Hatton. That's the first time they found out that Ricky Hatton ain't all that. Then you see fights that he had against Sugar Shane. Sugar Shane basically took over that fight, but at the same time you can see Collazo still doing some damage. I won't say some damage, but he was still doing. He was still in the fight. He was still giving Sugar Shane some problems. And then you have Andre Berto, which was a pretty good fight on both sides. Andre Berto can always look explosive like he always does, but he takes a lot of hits. He gets tired towards the end of the later rounds. Then we had Victor Ortiz that he knocked down in the second round. The first round, pretty even round. It wasn't really just checking each other. In the second round, he was setting up to knock him out. His last loss he had was against Amir Khan, which actually Amir Khan looked pretty good. He was moving, throwing a lot of fast punches, a little bit quicker than Collazo. Let me go ahead and just show you some highlights of the fights that he had. You see Collazo go down here in the first round real quick, but he's able to come back and throw some punches, throw that straight left. One of the things I see with Thurman that he squares up a little bit, which is able to get Collazo to go ahead and throw that uppercut, which the Ghost wasn't able to do against him. Here's the 12th round. He almost had Ricky Hatton down. Here's the highlights with Sugar Shane. He's able to put in punches like that and get problems with Sugar Shane. Even though Sugar Shane kind of did dominate most of the rounds, it just kind of showed what kind of skill level he's at. And right here's with Andre Berto. In the first round, he kind of already got him against the ropes, and he just likes to squab it up inside. And that's the uppercut I was telling you about. And Andre Berto, there was a lot in that fight. There was a lot of good exchanges going on there. Just one of the things is Andre Berto wasn't able to land those clean punches. Sometimes he'd be hitting on the shoulders of Collazo, but Collazo was able to do some inside damage, which is one of the things that's good about him. He got that right hook. He's able to go over the orthodox jab, and here's where he fought Ortiz, and he's able to set it up right here in the second round and show how he's able to get into knocking him out. Double up and then right and left. See, and that's where you're heading with his right hook. Is for being a southpaw, he's able to throw that right hook a lot against the orthodox fighters. Here's Amir Khan. He has some little bit of highlights on it, but I ain't gonna lie, most of it was Amir Khan highlights. He did knock down Collazo 3 times in that fight, one earlier than 2 in the 10th round. But he still was able to give Amir Khan some problems, but Amir Khan was boxing, moving around. I really don't have much of the highlights for Keith Thurman because of what he's doing right now. Just really taking over the fighters. He got a heavy punch. And then again, he has fought Ghost, but he hasn't really had any top opponents until now. He's going to fight Luis Collazo. I really didn't put on highlights on Keith Thurman because we kind of know what's going on with him. He's doing real good right now. Boxing style and is able to jump up that level. One thing I do see wrong with Keith Thurman is that he does square up and he let himself get hit. He did that with Ghost Guerrero. I wasn't sure because he knew he was able to take the Ghost's shot just to, I guess, call him out that he's tough enough to hang with him. And most likely with this fight, it's going to go up. It's going to be more of Keith Thurman trying to get used to Collazo's southpaw stance. Even though he's not a power puncher, he's still able to throw some heavy punches. And on some of Collazo's last couple of wins, even before Amir Khan, he lost against Amir Khan, he was able to knock out some people. Most recently, Victor Ortiz was basically almost a little bit over a year. And his last opponent, which looks like they were just trying to get W under his belt. He is also at that age. He's fought a lot of wars. He's getting close to 35. It does kind of show that he's kind of not as young as he used to be. But he's still dangerous. He's a real sharpshooter, real precise with his punches. For being a southpaw, he don't fight that defensive style where he's always running away. He's a fighter that really fights from different angles. It depends who he fights. He's ready to go throw it down inside, outside. So I'm not sure how much problem he's going to get Thurman, but hopefully it makes it a good match. And that's one of the things I think is going to be a pretty good fight. Even though Collazo didn't look so good against Amir Khan, doesn't mean he's just a chump that I just put in front of Keith Thurman for him to get an easy KO or anything like that. Even that said, my prediction of the fight, I think Keith Thurman is going to go ahead and win this fight. I want to say a knockout around 9th round. And the reason I say knockout, because he's trying to take on Mayweather. So he's going to be real impressive. He's going to show a lot of what he could do. Also have some good experience. And he also has a good corner, man. His coach, Dan, who also has coach Winky Wright, Chad Dawson, Jeff Lacey. Winky Wright's one of the best southpaws that has been out there. So I'm pretty sure he'd be able to give Keith Thurman some pointers on how to fight Collazo. So Keith Thurman, 9th round. KO is going to stop the fight. I'm not surprised if it goes 12 rounds. We also have in that day Mauricio Herrera versus Hank Lundy. Mauricio Herrera, he fought 2 fights, Jose Benavides and Danny Garcia, which looked like he won, but they gave it to the other fighter. So there's been some controversy on the last 2 losses that Mauricio has fought, and they're putting Hank Lundy against him. Hank Lundy is a little bit younger than Mauricio Herrera. Don't know if that's going to put into play anytime during the fight. Mauricio Herrera is a real pressure fighter, which just gave those Danny Garcia and Jose Benavides some problems. And he'll keep on coming, take the punches, go forward. To tell you the truth, I didn't see that much of Hank Lundy fights, but looking at his record, he has lost 4 times. Recently, he has lost against Thomas Dulmore, who just got to losing to Terrence Crawford earlier this year in April. He also lost against to Raymond Beltran, who also lost against to Terrence Crawford. Victor Postol, don't know much about him, but he lost against him too. And also against John Molina Jr. The people he's lost are pretty good fighters, and they all went to decision except for the John Molina fight. So looking to be a good fight for Mauricio Herrera to see where he's at. If you look at their KOs, you could tell it's not really a knockout fight. Mauricio Herrera only has 7 KOs in 26 fights. Lundy has had 12 KOs on 29 fights or 30 fights. So it's not looking to be a KO fight, but it does look like to be pretty good boxing, looking by the records and also the way you see Mauricio Herrera fight. He just keeps on fighting forward. It was always kind of entertaining to watch him fight. But it's also going on Saturday. I'm going to record both of them. I'm not really sure I'm going to have the prediction results right after the fight, probably be the next day in the morning. Got some other plans going on. I'm ready to watch both of them the next day or the night of and check it out. Really looking for that Keith Thurman fight and see what he does with that fight right there. And if he looks good, and see if Mayweather wants to fight him. Most likely after this week, we're going to see Mayweather announce who he wants to fight. If the fight turns out to be pretty good, pretty impressive for Keith Thurman, you could probably see that happening. Yeah, it's getting real close to September, and he need to announce the fighter he's going to fight already. Please check out the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters I have right now as of June 2015. I'll leave the link below in this description. Please like, please subscribe. Please leave any comments for discussion. And thank you from Boxing.